Everybody has a blog. Everybody has a thing. Everybody has their own little space where they can talk and show how dumb they are. There is a saying: if people think you're dumb, don't open your mouth and prove them right, or something like that. I always get sayings wrong. I'm not saying guy, I'm more doing guy. But anyway, there's another woke mainstream media guy. He doesn't think that our friend, Indiana Fever stud Caitlin Clark, is on the trajectory to be the Rookie of the Year, despite the fact that the woman is leading every single WNBA player in points produced. All right. The reasoning is baffling. She's not carrying the league, only building on the progress the league spent years making before she came along. Yeah, well, that's white boy crap. See, you got to understand the world that we live in. There are all these little white dudes around, and I told you this before, certainly when it comes to basketball, that are so afraid of being considered racist that they get down to clown with every little take that there possibly could be. This year, the take for a little white guy, and of course, African-American lesbian woman, is to say that Caitlin Clark's no good, not good enough, not carrying the league. She's absolutely carrying the league. She's carrying the league to the point where the league may as well not even have existed before Caitlin Clark got into the league. Crowds are 3 times bigger than ever before because of Caitlin Clark. TV ratings off the charts. For example, last year, high-end game, maybe 400,000 viewers. Now Caitlin Clark triples that. 1.2 million, etc. It's not even close. There was no progress in this league. You can act like there was. You can say there was progress in NCAA women's basketball. But once they siphoned to the WNBA, it was It was simply no interest. Who was the champ last year? Who won it the year before? What? Who? No. See, Caitlin Clark has done something, really, that no other professional athlete has done, nor should be able to do. She has made the champions, the Las Vegas Aces. See, I knew who the champions were. She made the Las Vegas Aces the champions in Vegas, the big draw, with the MVP, Becky Hammon, said, Asia Wilson is the best player to put on a uniform. All right? She made the Aces change venues to a bigger venue. What is it? The Mobile Center, where it holds about 20,000, where people were wrapped around the Mobile Center pregame waiting to get in or get tickets. Moved it from, I believe it was an 8,000 seat arena where the Aces normally play to a 20,000 seat arena in professional sports. Look, this isn't Damon Bailey back in the 90s after a book came out called Season on the Brink, being a high school phenom, and teams had to move their games to bigger gyms. This is professional sports. This is a league that some guy named Kirshner tells us that we must only consider her as progress, not making. Really? No professional athlete I can remember, maybe ever, Gretzky, Jordan, Magic, Bird, ever did that, ever had to move venues because of their popularity. Now, Bird and Magic were responsible for moving the NBA Finals from tape delay to prime time, no question about it. That's the closest comparison that I can make. Think about it. A professional sports team that's making all this progress, that 27 years in, still has to play in a smaller arena in a major town like Vegas until the little white girl, the little heterosexual white girl from Iowa who conducts herself with a ton of class, who just acts like a human being, isn't an immature, crazy-ass woman, until she comes to the league. But this guy won't admit that. Okay. All right. The argument for Clark, Clark is not carrying the WNBA on her back. as much as she's building on the progress the league spent years making before she came along. Really? Okay. Who else is moving venues? Who else is selling everything out? I don't know. The former champs? A'ja Wilson, America's most immature star, if she's a star. All right. She's still the league's biggest draw. Her every move is scrutinized, often by those with an agenda beyond basketball. And as with every star rookie, opponents work tirelessly to shake her up. But Clark has generally handled the limelight well, while still conjuring a bit of magic on the court. A bit. She does things that none of these women ever thought of doing. It's not even close. I mean, all you got to do is watch her against pick a name, a really good player. Like A'ja Wilson, okay, you can play from the free throw line down. Every big fat woman can play from the free throw line down. Every skinny tall woman can play from the free throw line down. But none of them can do what she can do. Not even close. The argument against Clark hasn't been that good, really. Hasn't been that good. She's an undeniable star, but don't tell that to WNBA defenders who have denied her quite a bit. 39% shooting is significantly lower than her career average in 4 record-setting years at Iowa. You got it. You can't be serious. You're going to compare playing in the WNBA? You're going to compare playing in the WNBA to playing in Iowa? Like, Indiana has what's considered the second-best team in the Big Ten. Have you seen those women at Indiana? Indiana's star is a lumbering, really nice young lady named Mackenzie Holmes. You got to be kidding me. Perhaps Rookie of the Year honor should go to a player who doesn't so frequently give the ball to the other team, or at least one who has made more field goal attempts per game than she has made turnovers. Well, have you seen her teammates? Like, have you seen the drops? I'm not even making excuses for that because that's just idiotic. Or perhaps it should. Perhaps the Rookie of the Year should go to the player that produces the most points in the league. Perhaps. But I get it, little doughy white guy is trying. And he succeeded. He got on our show. That's good. That's great. Now, that's wonderful for him. Now, the argument for Reese is simple. She's been the best rookie in the WNBA up to this point in the season. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. She rebounds her own misses. She can't get the ball over the front of the rim. She's been good, but she hadn't been nearly as good. It just shows when people talk, they espouse their ignorance about basketball. Dribble in, miss a layup, get it back, miss a layup, get it back, lay it in. You can do that in your driveway. That is typical WNBA. That's the WNBA people have been watching for 27 years. I don't care if you're mad about it. I don't care. That's the WNBA. From the free throw line in, women's basketball has been that forever. And then standing, making threes with your clicking your heels is what we call it. If you could click your heels, meaning get your feet set, then you can make threes. She's a disruptive force in the middle. Do you know Caitlin Clark has, I believe it's 17 block shots? Angel Reese has 3. Is that really a disruptive force? She managed to score as demonstrated by her ongoing streak of 13 double-doubles. That streak isn't just a rookie record, but a record for the whole history of the league. Not bad for a first-year player. Not bad at all. She's done it all while dealing with her own media circus and intense public focus on everything she says or does. By both conventional stats and advanced numbers like win shares, Reese rules all WNBA rookies comfortably. Yeah, she's right. It is comfortable, but it ain't her. No, it ain't her. No, I'm sorry. The argument is not very good. Reese should be the front runner, even though betting markets are only slowly warming up to the idea of someone other than Clark winning the award. But if you want to play devil's advocate, she has almost no value as a perimeter shooter and is not a polished finisher around the rim. Her rebounding totals, excellent as they are, have long been inflated by Reese's many opportunities to collect her own misses around the bucket. Well, of course, that's what she does. That's what the WNBA is. That's what the WNBA always has been. She can't shoot. She can't defend. I think she's a good player. Doesn't get the stat padding opportunities around the rim. Clark doesn't get the stat padding opportunities around the rim and has less margin for error in pursuit of efficiency, so perhaps the feed regard should get some extra leeway in evaluating her early stat line. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, all you got to do is look at who is generating more wins, who is generating, and that's even stupid. I mean, both came to bad teams. I mean, Caitlin Clark came to a team that had the first pick in the draft 2 years in a row, and she's leading the WNBA in points produced. Are you insane? Are you nuts? I get it, though. I do. White guy, pasty, he's trying to get down. But, I mean, honest to God, I look at dominant force in the paint defensively, 4 blocks all year. 4 blocks. Huh. That's like a game for a dominant interior defender. That is. Truth of the matter is they're both good players. Truth of the matter is it ain't even close. I'm telling you, it ain't even close. When you lead the entire league as a rookie in points produced, when you are literally looking at taking a team that has two in a row, so bad for 2 straight years, and elevating them to playoff status, even though, yes, it's 8 out of 12, it's unbelievable. In fact, Angel Reese's team is on point to lose more than they won last year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a little tired of the stupid, and we got to deal in stupid. You got the African-American lesbian who's mad. You got the doughy white boy that's mad, and neither of them have no a damn thing about hoops. Nothing. Reese is shooting 42% from the field. Reese is shooting 42% from the field, and all of her shots are inside 5 feet. That's what she's shooting. Now, with all due respect to whoever I'm supposed to have all due respect for, that's what the girl is shooting. Angel Reese is shooting 42% from the field on shots that are literally 2 feet away. Now, I get it. She gets them back. That's great. That's awesome. But that's all. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. Now, she's upped it a little bit. She started making some shots. Yay, rah. Go fight, win. But the truth of the matter is, this ain't even close. It ain't. Let's see here. Hold on. Now, she does have this double-double streak going, which is fun. It is. It's fun. I mean, I like to see it. Because the other day, apparently, she needed a rebound, so she missed one on purpose, got it back, and got to 10. I like it. She's been good. She's been fine. She's been just fine, but she ain't Caitlin Clark. 42%, and we're talking about Caitlin Clark shooting 39%, accounting for the most points in the league. And we're talking about turnovers. Have you seen her teammates drop balls? But you know what? To each their own. To each their own, but it ain't close. And it ain't going to stay close. In fact, I'm going to tell you something that I told Withrow yesterday, and Jonathan Hutton, yesterday, and I'll continue to tell people. By the end of this year, you're going to see Caitlin Clark in the conversation. She probably won't win. Can you imagine? For MVP. You'll see it. All right. LeBron James wants people to understand that criticizing his son, second-round pick Bronny, for being a Nepo baby and not belonging in the NBA isn't something that impacts Bronny. Okay, maybe not, but Bronny needs to just be quiet. Let Daddy do the talking. But Daddy needs to be quiet too, because none of it matters. And LeBron James knows that. When LeBron James came into the league, I'm guessing he understood better than anybody, look, first and foremost, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to get good. No, LeBron James had to be great, and he is. And he was then, and he is now. Bronny James got to be good enough. Doesn't have to be great. Got to be good enough. That's the only thing that's going to quiet the dummies that say he's a Nepo baby. Sure he is. Of course he is. So what? Hell, the owner of the Colts got the Colts team from his daddy, Jimmy Irsay. 2 daughters are going to get it from their daddy. What's the problem? We see it all the time. Don't care. But here's what LeBron had to say. I don't know if people really understand Bronny. Well, why would we? I mean, with all due respect, why would we, quote, understand Bronny? I mean, tell me. He's a high school kid that was decent, got elevated to the McDonald's All-American team like 30 other kids every year, went to college, played in front of no crowd, didn't draw attention, didn't play very well. So why are we supposed to understand Bronny? I mean, why? I don't understand Bronny, and I don't want to understand Bronny. You don't understand Bronny? If he's good enough to play and I have a chance, turn him on and watch him. He doesn't care. I actually care a little bit. Of course you do. LeBron James cares a ton, and that's fine. When I came in as a rookie, I wanted people to like me. And some of the things that people were saying about me kind of bothered me early on in my career. He doesn't give a F. He does not care about anyone. He doesn't even listen to that stuff. He's like the coolest. He's like the complete opposite of his dad. His dad will say something to address the critics. Bro does not care. Everything that's being said about him, he really doesn't care. Yeah, okay. Then don't comment on it. That simple. I don't care, then don't comment on it. That's easy. No problem. Seriously. Just imagine if you were a kid, you were born. I like this. This is good now. Listen to this. So imagine if you were a kid, you were born into a situation where your dad was super famous, super wealthy, and you, the kid, still had to drive to want to be able to accomplish things for yourself. I personally don't know if I would have been able to do that if the roles were reversed. When I was coming up, I had no choice. I literally had no choice. I had to make it out for myself. My mom, my family, my hometown, my city. Well, that's crap. I mean, city would have been just the same miserable place that Akron, Ohio is, regardless of LeBron James. I mean, come on. Who we shitting here? My mom, my family, blah, blah, blah. If Bronny wanted to stop right now or never played basketball, just wanted to be a gamer or wanted to be a chef or wanted to be nothing to whatever, could have done that. That's true. Now, I like that. Now, that makes sense to me. No, it does. It makes a lot of sense to me. Bronny could have done a lot of different stuff, but he didn't. And it seems like, again, this is why I kind of root for him. Seems like he's a hardworking kid. Now, the Jordan brothers, it was interesting. Maybe it's a generational thing. Like, I never pushed my kids. In fact, I get mad at them more than I praise them probably. Like, what are you doing? Jordan had a son that went to Central Florida. Jordan had a son that backed up at Illinois. Jordan never really at all, ever once, never interfered or said you got to draft, or there was never even talk. Maybe it's a generational thing. LeBron's a little younger, 20 years younger. And parents that are in their 30s and 40s seem to hover over their kids more. They seem to be a little bit helicoptery. They seem to be a little fluttery. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the difference. But I never saw this Scottie Pippen, although his kids weren't of age. And maybe Jordan was done playing. Yeah, I think he was. But certainly Jordan could have made some noise. Certainly Jordan could have called in some favors. Certainly Jordan was involved in ownership when Jeffrey and Marcus were coming up, but I never saw it. But I'm going to tell you, I am going to root for Bronny James. I hope he does well. I hope he puts himself in a situation where he can make a team and get into an NBA game with his dad. I think that would be cool. I do. I think I like cool stuff. I don't like everything, but I like cool stuff. And Bronny James playing in the NBA with his dad would be cool stuff. Well, what if he doesn't deserve it? He's taking the spot of someone who deserves it. No, he's not. No. Now, see, I went to the Pacers playoff games, and I saw all these guys on the bench, Isaiah Wong, Oscar Tshiebwe, really good college players. And none of them played. None of them mattered in the scope of the NBA. So why not have somebody standing there at the end of the bench or sitting there at the end of the bench or cheering at the end of the bench that actually is interesting? James's kid's interesting. I went and did a game, Knicks versus OKC, down in OKC one time. And I walked out there and I saw the youngest Plumlee. And I'm like, wait a second. You're on an NBA team? Good for you. Well, he was one of, I guess at the time, every NBA team had 3 white 7-footers or 2 white 7-footers or maybe just 2 7-footers. And he was the obligatory 7-footer. That's right. So, you know, I want interesting. Isaiah Wong, nice player. Maybe he ends up good. Oscar Tshiebwe, fantastic college player, West Virginia and Kentucky. Maybe even the college player of the year, but they're not interested. The hell am I interested in that for? Not interested in that. Give me some Bronny James, and I'll get down to clown, as my friend Hammer Time says. Hey, a week after agreeing to join the Philadelphia 76ers, our guy, Paul George, is such a fraud. Paul George has opened up on his breakup with his hometown LA Clippers and his breakdown in negotiations that preceded his exit, calling the negotiations disrespectful. Of course he did. Look, Paul George is the absolute worst guy to have on your team. He is the worst. Why? Because he thinks he's something he's not. He thinks he's a real winning, warrior, tough, late-game NBA guy. When what he is a 3 o'clock hitter. 3 o'clock hitter, man, we went to batting practice. Did you see Nick hitting the ball? Woo, could he stripe it? Oh, yeah, the game's at 7. Huh. Oh, okay. The game's at 7. 3 strikeouts, maybe a walk, and hit into a double play. What? That is Paul George. Paul George has always been that. In fact, when he was here in Indianapolis, they put a Gatorade commercial with him winning or hitting game-winning shots. He never hit a game-winning shot. Hell, I think in his entire career he has one. Dude's played for a long time, made a lot of money, been at the forefront of teams. I remember when he came to L.A., he did all that stupid guy talking. I owe this city a championship. Paul George went to the school of I know exactly what to say, but I can't back it up. Because there's a gene inside of him that's cowardice, that's afraid. It's just not there. The PG epic fails in the playoffs, well, it's exactly what they are. They're epic. And Paul George ain't going to change in Philadelphia, no matter what he says. And the whole disrespectful thing shows that not only is he a bit of a coward on the court, but man, oh man, is he an idiot off the court. Disrespectful because he didn't get Kawhi money. Well, you're not as good as Kawhi. What do you want me to tell you? Lawrence Frank and the rest of the Clippers know you're a nice player. You're worth having on a team, but you ain't winning a championship. History has a tendency to repeat itself. And Paul George missing big shots in the playoffs, that is history. Let's hear from PG whatever.
As it played out, though, like the first initial deal was, I thought, kind of disrespectful, right? And again, in all of this, no hard feelings. So the first initial deal was like 2 years, 60. So I'm like, whoa.
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
That's great.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy.
Then I hear wind of like, what they're going to give Kawhi. So I'm like, just give me what Kawhi got. Like,
Right.
y'all view us the same. Like, we came here together. We want to finish this together. I'll take what Kawhi got. Like, no
cool
problem.
with
I was cool with that. Like,
Wow.
and we were still taking less. We were taking less.
Wow.
Kawhi took less. I was like, if Kawhi gonna take less, I'm not gonna say I want more than Kawhi. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not about me being paid more than him. Like, I'm gonna take what he got. Y'all give him that, give me that. They didn't want to do that.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I don't know. Kawhi's won a championship. Now, Kawhi never plays. I wouldn't pay either of you clowns. Kawhi Leonard, kind of had enough of. He's interesting because he's quiet when he's winning, but he's uninteresting when he's just being sullen and stupid. Paul George is never interesting because there are guys in your life that I'm sure you have seen where when they talk, you just go, all right, when's this over? You know who's like that? Carson Wentz. I said this back in the day when Hard Knocks was with the Colts mid-season. And if you've ever been around African-American athletes, when they say something like, I already know, when you're in the middle of a discussion or a story, that means they're tired of you. Jonathan Taylor threw an I already know to Carson Wentz, and I'm like, that dude is done. His teammates got nothing for him. That's Paul George. And why is it that every guy that has a podcast like Paul George has these little minions that pipe in? Oh, yeah, you. Shut up. Nobody pays to hear the little minion on a podcast that pipes in. You're here to hear Paul George. Anyway, when Paul George speaks, ain't nobody listening. But he keeps talking. And that's what he does best. If you were going to say to me, what's Paul George's legacy as a basketball player? I'd say, he talks. He learned the lingo. He learned the language that you're supposed to use to be an NBA great. Now, he don't play like it. He don't back it up. He chokes in every playoff series that he has ever been and will ever be in once he became PG-13. Early in his career, he didn't. When he was trying to make it, man, he didn't. And he's a nice kid, but he's a freaking fraud. And there is nothing going to happen in Philly that's going to be anything other than expectations and disappointment. See, John Beilein said it well about Michigan. We undersell and overdeliver. Paul George is the exact opposite. Paul George is going to oversell and underdeliver, just like the head on my hair is non-existent, baby. He ain't showing and going. He's talking. Never works out. Speaking of talking, what the hell? What in the hell is going on with Joe Biden? Joe Biden screaming. Joe Biden yelling. Joe Biden, bah, 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 challenge me. In a rambling, incoherent, what is that, Morning Joe with Joe and Minka? Are they stooping, by the way? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Anyway, the president got on and started screaming and yelling. And at one point, I don't know if we have it, you could hear him listen to his trying to shuffle his notes. Now, they said he didn't have notes. They were lying. He starts screaming into the phone, telling all Democrats who are interested in replacing him to challenge him. Let's hear it. Challenge me.
The American public is not going to move away from me as an average voter. And again, I'm here for two reasons, pal. One, to rebuild the economy for hardworking middle-class people, give everybody a shot. Just a straight shot. Everybody gets a fair chance, number one. Number two, remember all this talk about how I don't have the black support? Come on, give me a break. Come with me. Watch. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me in the convention.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the crowds. They're not much. And, he is not trying to get the middle class. He is trying to eliminate the middle class by bringing in a whole group of immigrants. I mean, why doesn't anybody ever pay attention to what's actually happening? I do. The middle class, you've been president for 3.5 years. What have you done? Now, seriously, all I ever hear is, when it's relative to Donald Trump, is we got to save democracy and we got to beat Trump. All right. What about Trump's policies didn't you like? Okay, you go to abortion. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass about abortion? It was meant to go to the states anyway, and now it's at the states. I mean, let's talk real here. Why can't we have we got this rambling idiot president who has Trump so up his ass that for 3.5 years, all he's talked about is Trump. And now, because he is that guy that you knew in high school that had the money and all that stuff, was a complete pussy, but he, like Paul George, was a talker, he tries to talk his way tough. And anybody that's ever actually had to be tough understands that, well, talking your way through being tough makes you kind of a pussy. And that's all this guy is. Now, Biden repeated the same old debunked suckers and losers hoax. But this time he claims he was with Trump when he supposedly said it. You can just come out and lie only so much, can't you? First off, it's been debunked. Trump never said it. And second, where they're saying he said it, Biden wasn't there. But the dude can't stop himself from lying. This is why I have no respect for him. Look, I've always respected or not cared, depending on my age, about the president. Didn't care about Reagan, didn't care. Started caring when 9/11 happened. Started really paying attention. I watched the Watergate trials when I was a kid, didn't understand them, but I read books on it and watched movies on it, and I'm kind of fascinated by it. But the reason I dislike Biden is he just lies. Here's another lie. He was with Trump when he really wasn't. How in the hell is this guy the president? Let's hear.
I'm reading from the list of lies. First of all, he was made up quotes, suckers and losers. I was with it. He called Americans in the cemeteries from World War I suckers and losers.
He's ready to go. I was with. He was getting ready to lie, and then even it was such a bad lie that even he couldn't pull the trigger on it. See, you can get mad at me all you like, and people do get mad at me, but when people lie, I lose respect. Like, there's a difference in lying. Like, people are mad at Trump for saying we had the greatest economy in the world. I don't know if that's true or not. That's not as swarmy to me. Maybe to you it is. That's not as swarmy to me as saying, well, I was a law professor. What? That's not as swarmy to me as getting kicked out of the race back in the 80s because of propaganda. Or I was raised in the black church. No, I was raised in the Puerto Rican church. No, I am a man, corn pop man. No, I'm serious. It's just, I hate those kind of people. I just dislike them. I just dislike those kind of people, and I always have, and I always will. And if that makes me a bad guy, that makes me a bad guy. Well, your guy said he grabs him by the... Well, guys say things all the time like that. What's wrong with you? I mean, you can get mad if you'd like. You can get mad at everything every guy has ever said. Then don't go out on a golf course and play golf with guys. Don't go in a locker room with guys. I mean, son of a biscuit maker. I'll confess, I've never said the N-word in my life, and I never will, because I just think it's abhorrent. And where I grew up, it was mean, nasty, and people did it actually down the street from my house. Somebody spray painted on the side of a house. I would never involve myself with that, but I got to tell you, dudes called me everything in the book, and I called them everything in the book, and if you don't like it, screw you. Oh, man. So get off of all the crap. And again, this is just me. There's 350 million people in this country. And I'm going to tell you, certain things by Biden just bothers. I don't know how he doesn't bother all of you. Like George W. Bush bothered me at the end because his speeches, he was great in 9/11, which gave me eternal respect. That first pitch he threw out, man, was that good. The ability for him to get in front and inspire was great. But by the end, I got tired of him talking. And Barack Obama never had a job, never had nothing, didn't do anything to become a senator other than play the system. And when he spoke, it was ridiculous. And when he speaks now, it's ridiculous. But nobody's as bad as Biden. You just get up there and lie. You just lie. Axios just released a new article after obtaining notes that this dude is so jacked up and so out of it that they've got to walk to the podium. Here's where you walk. Documents prepared by White House staff to aid President Biden at an event, which were sent to other staff as a template for how to prepare for future's event. Walk to podium. Jesus. I mean, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. The staffer who helped with the fundraiser told Axios, it surprised me that a seasoned political pro like the president would need detailed verbal and visual instructions on how to enter and exit a room. Well, he's out of his mind. He doesn't know where he is. He's a vegetable. He's a slurring vegetable on 2 feet. Of course he needs help getting in. Of course he needs help getting out. It's a mess. And if you don't understand that or if you support it, God bless you. That's your choice. Me, no chance. But it really, for me, it's the lying. It's the constant, nonstop lying. Again, for 3.5 years, all this clown has done is lie, undo every policy of Trump's that was working simply because it was Trump's policy, put our nation in danger, do everything that they are accusing Trump of doing. We got wars going on. We got immigration, crazy immigration. We've got gas prices up. We stopped oil production. We got inflation through the roof. They've done every single thing they are accusing Trump of being the guy to do it. And now, I know we're all supposed to be careful here, but now they got that machine rolling. We'll see. But I just can't listen to the guy. You guys can. Good for you. But I can't listen, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Hey, I like this. Jags owner Shad Khan put his entire coaching staff and roster on notice after the franchise's disappointing 2023 season. Heads will be placed on the chopping block if the Jags don't produce positive results. I like it. Yeah, I think there's a sea of change for us, Shad said. And this is for our coaching, that they have to develop young players. Our solution isn't going to be we're going to be signing free agents every year. We don't have that ability. Bottom line is that young talent has to be developed. The coaching staff, their priorities have to change. Mindset has to change. That's where we're going to get our players. We cannot have this addiction to free agency. Good for him. Well, his dumb ass gave in to public pressure and fired the best developer of talent in all of football, Urban Meyer. So I hope you sit in it. I hope, as Matt Painter said about losing to a 16 seed, I hope, Shaka Khan, you sit in it all year.